much. We want to go to Spartanburg County Sheriff Chuck Wright, who is talking to the media.
Let's go ahead and take a listen.
We're responding to the city asking us to come and help. We really don't know what triggered anything or what happened before we got there. Our officers got here. There was a gunfire exchange. One of our deputies was hit. Praise God that he was hit in the arm and no other vitals. And I just was up there with him a little while ago, and he's going to be okay. The doctor said he's going to be fine. Everybody that can pray, just start doing that for me, okay? Major Art Littlejohn literally tore one of the banisters down and threw our deputy in the car and got him to the hospital. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate the teamwork that we share here in the city and everywhere around. I mean, it's just cops doing what cops do. I know that the situation at the house is over. I don't know what the status of anybody is, and I want to let some people that is not close to the case make some of those comments. Sheriff Hobart Lewis has been asked by Chief Kill and myself if he would investigate all this, and the answer is of course. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know what to tell you. It's a terrible phone call when you get the phone calls and you say, hey, you got a deputy that's been shot, and it takes you 30-40 minutes to find out if he's going to make it or not. But thank God everybody's going to be fine. The deputy is. We know there were other people in the house. We literally just secured the scene, so I don't know any more details than I might add. So Major Art Littlejohn obviously is here to speak for whatever the city needs to speak to, but I want to publicly thank him personally for doing what he did. He put himself in harm's way to help our man, and I just can't. I don't know what. Thank you's not good enough.
Sheriff, do we know anything about the suspect?
No, we don't. I mean, we knew who he is. We know who he is. Don't know what started it. I mean, it's a crazy thing, but we just don't know what started it. I mean, and to be honest with you, there's nothing that could have been done. I know there were some waterwork people there first. There was nothing they could have done to cause this or to make somebody do this. So
were these waterwork people on the house's property, or how close were they to the house?
I think they were there at that house, and I don't know. I really don't know why. Waterworks. They might have been telling him they were going to cut his water off for a little while to work on a pipe. I don't know. I'm just kind of guessing, but you never know.
Sheriff, would you be so kind as to what you can share with us? Bring us through the timeline of what happened starting at 3 and what brings us here today. We
were getting ready. The sheriff's office was getting ready to do a SWAT hit on something else. We had a lot of deputies that were right there into the squad room getting debriefed about what we were going to do. Call come out from the city to help. Everybody obviously bails out and goes help. When we get there, that's when everything transpired with the shootings.
How many hostages, or I shouldn't say hostages, how many people are inside of this home? Do we know?
I can't confirm. I don't know. I don't know yet.
Do we know if they're okay?
I don't know any more details than that.
Tell me about the shootings, Sheriff. What do we know at this point?
We know that we had our deputy that got shot was on scene, and 2 of the other deputies that were there to help. The 2 other deputies returned fire, and what they hit, we don't know yet. We'll figure that out. But like I say, Art grabs our guy and gets him to the hospital. And I'm telling you, that's the reason why he's still with us today. So, about all I know.
What is the condition of the other 2 people, the people working for
the water
treatment?
Don't know. I don't know yet.
Major, can you talk a little bit about what your day has been like and what it was like to help this officer in need?
What we know is that we did respond there. We responded, and there were 2 people shot, was the initial call that came in. They were transported to the hospital. I think their injuries are non-life-threatening. And then we went because we thought someone may have been still inside the home that was hurt, and that was the reason why we wanted to get in. And during that time, shots were fired, and of course, shots were returned, and that's kind of where we are now.
Now, those 2 people in the hospital, they were water workers for Spartanburg?
That's what I believe. I can't confirm that, but that's what I believe.
What is the condition of the suspect right now?
I don't know. We haven't been able to confirm that yet.
Major, the sheriff just thanked you repeatedly for helping this man out. Talk about what you had to do to get him out of the line of fire and get him to the hospital.
Well, the thing about it is we know each other. We've been working together for many years, and so we're friends. And so wasn't thinking that it was a sheriff deputy. I was just thinking it was someone else that I knew, and I need to get him into safety.
As you can tell, he's big enough to break those things down, thank the Lord.
When was the last time any of your departments responded to a shooting with this many people involved? 3 people that we know so
Can't
far.
remember. It's been a long, long time, if ever.
Do you have a message to the community here, folks who live in this neighborhood who are seeing all this law enforcement here?
Yeah, we have everything under control, and we're working together seamlessly to make sure that everything's good. And I don't think there's any more threat to the community.
Did people have to be
Sheriff Lewis,
evacuated
can
from
you
their
comment
homes?
on what your department's been doing?
Hang on a second. What?
Did people have to be evacuated from their homes briefly who live by
I
there?
think
or-
we did it as a precaution just in case. And sir, you had something for Sheriff Lewis?
Sheriff, talk about Greenville County's response to help out your fellow officers and the investigation forthcoming.
We just staged up some tactical officers to come up here. We knew it was probably going to be a long afternoon for them. So we just wanted to be up here to give them a chance to kind of relieve some deputies that may have been on scene for a while. So as that information kind of transpired, and I met with Sheriff Wright, obviously Major Littlejohn, the situation found some resolve, and people were transported, and Sheriff Wright talked to Chief Keel at SLED. They discussed it, and they determined what they felt like would be needed, and asked us to work it. Now, that hadn't really begun yet, to be quite honest. There'll be investigators that'll be arriving here, and Officer Professional Standards and homicide investigators. And it's still a pretty active scene down there. A lot of things have to be picked up and collected, and there's still a lot of folks down there. So the investigation on that part is just beginning, but we'll certainly work hand in hand with them. And it's although it was a long day and it's a lot of things involved, it's I think the conclusion of it should come pretty quick.
Sheriff Wright, you mentioned it before, but just for clarification so no one's confused, can you just verify again, where was the first shot fired? Was it in the park? Was it at the home?
We're not sure yet. We're just not sure. And the reason I want to let the community know, the reason why we were asking Sheriff Hobart Lewis to come and do this, the city was involved, the county was involved, and SLED was involved. And we want to be transparent. That's the whole ticket here. And I have, he'll say it. If something's not right, he'll say it. But, he'll give you the facts of the case when he can get them.
Any connection from the suspect to the home that he was in?
It's too preliminary. We just don't know. I mean, I'd really like to answer a lot more of your questions, but I don't know any more that we can answer.
All 3 of your departments have responded to quite a few shootings in even the last couple of weeks. Is this an increase compared to previous years already that you've noticed an uptick in shootings in general?
I'd have to look at the numbers, but it does seem like there's been more this year, and I can't give you an answer why. I do know this, and I want the community to know this. It doesn't make no difference what color your badge is, what they look like. We're here to help you, and we're going to team up together to help each other, and that's just what we're about. So we are going to continue to give you the best police service. It don't matter if you're in Greenville, Cherokee, Union, Lawrence, Spartanburg City, no matter. We are your good guys. Let us help you. So
What's next with the suspect and the people inside of this home?
just the investigation starts with Hobart's team. We'll get everybody out of the way and let them do what they do.
For the people who live in this area, how long can they expect? Obviously, a lot of...
I have no answers for that. I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you, but I don't have any answers.
Can some of them return home though if they left the area?
I think Art's team is gonna take care of all that.
I think what we'll be able to do, we had a perimeter set up, and at some point, the people that should be able to go back, as long as they don't contaminate the crime scene.
Can we confirm the status of the suspect is this time?
No, just can't. Not yet. I know he'll have his PIO, and I'll have my PIO, and probably his as well. We'll put it all out and let you know as soon as we can confirm something. Okay?
Sheriff Wright, one last question for both of you, actually. Here lately, we've seen kind of an uptick in shootings, things happening in both counties. Obviously, this today, something no one wants to see. What do you guys have to say about that as far as, is it summertime, is it hot, or people just...
There's no excuse ever for somebody to be violent for no reason. I think I've been very open about the gun carry and the gun stuff. The only time you ought to be able to use a weapon against somebody is if you're trying to save your life, and that's it. Save your or your family's life. There is no excuse for getting mad and taking someone else's life or even hurting them. So I mean, I know that's what his answer is going to be, because that's just the way we all 3 feel. have no problem with guns. We have a problem with how they're used. So I think that's enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have been listening to Spartanburg County Sheriff Chuck Wright give us some insight into what has been happening in Spartanburg County. There's a lot of information we now know and quite a bit we still do not know.
Sheriff Chuck Wright telling us, first of all, that the situation is over. He, however, was not able to give us an update on the status of the suspect or anyone inside of that home. We've been bringing this breaking news to you all afternoon now, telling you that a man had barricaded himself inside of a home after a shooting there in the Cleveland Park area in Spartanburg County, where we learned that a deputy was shot. Also, 2 Spartanburg Water employees who were doing work in the area were shot. Thankfully, the information that we just received from law enforcement officials was that all 3 of those people are expected to be okay.
Yeah, the sheriff telling us that the deputy was hit in the arm and is expected to be okay, and Major Art Littlejohn giving us some indication that the 2 Spartanburg Water workers who were rushed to the hospital did not have life-threatening injuries. But again, we have not been gotten confirmed reports of their conditions as of yet.
The sheriff saying that the investigation now really continues. We will, of course, continue to follow this breaking news story for you out of Spartanburg County and update you here on our newscast throughout the evening, also on WYFF4.com and our mobile app. We'll be right back.